This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker. Let's roll.
Oh, yeah. Break them off some. Yeah. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran. I think this is like the fucking Election Center of Excellence.
The Election Center.
Yeah, I am your host, Ice. And of course, we are here. Of course, thank you, Jamie, exactly for the distraction. And, yeah. I have my hosts tonight, co-hosts. I have Radar and Flash with me, running and gunning.
What's up?
Yeah, this is going to be an all-night event. Last election, we played over 6 hours and 35 minutes of airtime to highlight the election. So we're going to be on as long as we can be on here, and of course we will have callers throughout the fucking day. Or throughout the night. It seems like it's been all. It seems like it's. Oh God. To discuss. To discuss all your election needs. And we'll be ready to go. I'm excited. Let's see real quick. According to the AP, let's look at the AP map right now. Thank you, AP, for dropping that right there. Here's what we're looking at. We're looking. Is that right? Is that freaking correct? Looking at that model right there, holy shit! That looks. Let's see. We got some declareds. Oh yeah, it looks like that can't be correct, is it? Is that it? 85? Is D. Treasy only at 55 right now? Is that what it is? Is that what's going on? Are we?
There's a lot of things being called right now that that haven't been called other places. So it depends where you're looking at. If you look at Virginia, while there's lots of places like Fox News, but USA Today, NBC News, Politico's also calling it the win, but NBC News and CNN are calling it too close to calls. I was diving into those. It's kind of weird looking at that map itself for Virginia, but we have to remember a lot of these things are the pre-vote. So everyone who sent in their absentee ballots, everyone who sent in their who did early voting. So that a lot of the first calculations you're seeing right here on the map are that, and then it is the counting and stuff like that. A couple of things that already been pushed out that we already know. Vermont, it looks like they're going to call New Hampshire pretty soon for Biden, but right now Biden's holding on Vermont, soon to be New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Delaware, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Maryland, Illinois, and then Donald Trump's, depending on, again, apparently what you're looking at, because looking at maps like NBC News, which I'm enjoying because they're kind of slow playing things, Trump has got Oklahoma, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and West Virginia, but places like Virginia aren't called yet. Mississippi, Alabama, not called yet, even though we're pretty, the numbers are looking like that, but right now they have like 0% reported in, and they're already calling it in Alabama when we're looking at these maps, we're trying to give you the best assessment with like a grain of salt when it comes to everything, but it's going to depend on which maps we're looking at.
Well, I'm looking at. I got it up right now. The AP's map, super map that they have with highlighted states that are already, you could see they're starting to, again, I'm not calling, we're just here to shit talk and all that. We've received some memes during the day that were pretty freaking hilarious, but again, we'll get back to that. Anyways, so real quick, hey, I just want to, before we even start, we started. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and go over just some house cleaning, because I'm not going to do fucking house cleaning 6.5 hours from now.
Right. 2 o'clock in the morning.
3. Yeah.
We have other shows.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we're going to another show. So what I'm going to do right now is first off say go Dodgers, and did you by the way, Flash, did you hear about the Dodgers? Them Dodgers and shit. I'm just saying.
You don't want to talk about that.
You don't want to talk about? Okay. Well, anyways, so this Friday we're going to have David Tenenbaum, a United States Air Force veteran and CEO and founder of Heroes Linked. He'll be on Friday Night Freedom to talk about his nonprofit and what they do to help veterans. The next one is going to be Matt Eisman. He is the comedian and actor. Will be on Pop Culture Warrior, and he's been the host of the 4-time Emmy-nominated American Ninja Warrior, and has also been named the newest Celebrity Apprentice. Wow. Boston Globe said of Matt, the best part about American Ninja Warrior, hands down, it is when bro host, he's a bro host, huh? Bro host. Matt Eisman roars into the short title.
Got it breaking. Fox News is calling it for Arkansas, and it looks like they're about to call. Well, no, never mind. They called it for Arkansas. They're looking at North Carolina, which is becoming a very tight race.
Oh, okay, all right. He helms the latest spinoff, American Ninja Warrior Jr. on Universal Kids, and it's their highest rated show ever. And then Friday on the Friday the 13th. Damn, we got a Friday the 13th. Some of y'all deserve to have Friday the 13th out there for just being mean out there online. Oh my God, doesn't he see mean shits? Dean McMurray, Army veteran, and a spirit medium. Dean McMurray will be joining Cause. We're gonna have some more spirit medium. All righty, yay. He's going to be joining us this Thursday for Sergeant's Time. We're going to have an Alwyn Cash update. I'm going to have a friend of mine that I've been working with closely to get some of the information out there for Alwyn Cash and the bill that's been sitting on the Senate floor that was introduced in September of September 22nd or something like that. Yeah. And she's going to come on here and give us an update on what's going on and just kind of like give an update on what's happening to the bill, what stopped it, why did it stop, and what's happening. So there you go. That's Thursday for Sergeant's Time. So let's get back to the everyone's freaking about this map, man. You see the electoral map, dude. It's like hang on, let me refresh this. Let me refresh this stuff right here. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't think I've hit the refresh button so much in my life. This is exciting.
Exactly.
Usually like, huh?
I'm like, let me refresh this. Okay, here, let me hit this right here. So there he is right there. There's the map. The map. I'm the map. But anyways, yeah, dude, I don't know. 85 electoral votes as opposed. And again, this is the AP. I don't want anybody to freak out and say, well, I don't have anybody. Again, this is the AP. They normally don't count it too early or whatever. And then we'll see what it is. I'm kind of curious to see what's up. I think half the issues that we're having on this is that a lot of individuals' systems and a lot of individuals' computers and voting whatever. I think it's going to be delayed. It's going to be delayed for a while.
Well, and not just. I mean, we're sitting here. We're really looking at the the presidential election, but there's also the Senate and the House too.
Right.
And it no matter say Biden were to win, but we get a Republican House and Senate, it makes it really hard for that president to do anything, and vice versa. If the Dems take the House and the Senate and Trump gets reelected, that also kind of really can change almost more so than the presidential election.
Correct.
So if we're looking at there's a lot of right now, there's still a lot of House and Senate seats up for grabs. And I'm you're going to have some of those people that just aren't going to get, they're not going to lose their seat. We had Mitch McConnell earlier. Like,
you're not going to take
for 135
yeah, you ain't going to take my, you're not going to take my seat, bitches. Suckers.
Yeah. I mean, we got Pelosi. I'm sure she'll be back.
Yeah, that's hard. That's a toss up, man. I think after some of her last comments, I don't think she's going to come on. I don't think she'll be as vibrant, but we'll see. So let's go back here to see what the stats are. Yep, I refreshed it. You guys are looking at the same thing I'm looking at. What's up, Jim?
What's happening?
What you doing, man? This is a Jim Cannon from the Veterans Report. I'm sorry, didn't
made that sound so informal, like we were just hanging out in the garage.
Well, we are just hanging out in the garage, right? I mean, shit, this is gonna be fun.
Man, it's been a while.
Man, brother, it. Yeah. Thank you. I'm just sitting here in Ranger panties with my WTF Nation Radio T-shirt and drinking on some Knob Creek, just chilling, sipping. I promised everybody that I would not get tanked tonight. And then, everyone's like, we should have it like last time. Because last time I came on there, I was like straight. Oh, man, it was 4 years ago, and it was fun. It was a fun show. I was listening to some of the highlights. And, man, it was fucking awesome. It was a great show. But anyways, so what's your take, man? What's the Veterans Report's view on this? What's your take on it?
Well, I do want to remind you that 2 years ago when you had me on during the midterms, I made some really awful predictions, most of which were wrong. And I do want to point out that, I'm sure a lot of your people are astute enough to realize this, a lot of your listeners, but since Trump has taken office, it is damn near impossible. And this includes the actual pundits and experts. It's impossible to really go out there and use quote unquote standard models in terms of predicting elections, whether it's local, state, or even federal. So, my take on it is it's going to be a wild ride tonight. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I'm sure people across the U.S. realize by now, Pennsylvania is one of the swing states, the battleground states, and B, it is set up to be an absolute dumpster fire based on the policies and the mandates and the stuff they passed with the 3-day extension, and some of the polling locations were out during the day today. I saw a story online about, I won't mention the media outlet, but about poll watchers being denied entry to certain polling locations in and around Philadelphia, which, granted it's Philadelphia, so that shouldn't come as a surprise, but, that's a huge, huge chunk of votes out Philly way. So, I guess, you asked my take on it. My take is I honest to God, I love to be confident when I have when I'm a cheerleader for a particular candidate or for a particular issue. I have been on this emotional roller coaster for about 4 or 5 months, going back and forth. And as it stands tonight, while that childlike naivete kicks in, and I really want to believe that my guy is going to win. I, honest to God, have no idea how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, same, man. I'm right there with you. It's kind of like a... Okay, now you were talking about some of this. That brings a good point. And there's a lot of individuals that are talking about voter suppression and shit like that around there too. Did you notice anything of that nature? Did you see any long lines, or did you notice anybody kind of like stopping individuals from voting from where you're at?
Not in my area, and it's generally I live in Pittsburgh, which is a night and day difference between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. In a number of ways. I didn't see any big lines here. There were, I had some friends who had to stand in line for, upwards of 20 minutes. And there were different voting methods this year. The last couple of elections I've been in, it's been the electronic machine where you go on the touch screen, you make your choices, and then they pull out the little block, the little cartridge. This time for my voting, I did the touch screen. It was one vote or one candidate or one office per screen, which has not happened before. And then it printed out this long, like one of the old data cards, one of the old punch cards, with my choices printed on it. And then I physically walked over to a thing that looked like an office printer that had a little scanning doohickey on the top. And I fed the card in there, and then it validated my choices on a computer screen and said, hey, your ballot's cast. Thanks for voting. I talked to friends of mine that voted in the city and other areas. They actually were handed a card that was pre-printed with the choices on it. Nothing filled in, but all the choices. And they took a felt tip pen, colored in their little circle. Then they went over and scanned it into a machine. So it's been interesting. It is important to point out that in this city, the Democrats have been in power for I don't know how many years, and they basically run the entire county. So there have been some, standard fare during elections. There have been a lot of accusations from certain Republicans running for office about, voter suppression, like you mentioned, bullying tactics. I personally haven't seen a lot of it, and I've been in and around politics here for quite a bit of time, and nothing wild, nothing out of the ordinary. So I'm not as concerned about this part of the state. I mean, generally people here behave, despite the partisan differences. Everybody kind of shakes hands and eats breakfast together the next day. It's really
We hope.
it's out,
We hope.
out Philly way.
Hey, we fucking hope, man.
Exactly.
There are some individuals that are fucking getting a little bit too crazy about it, and everyone's like going, WTF. It looks like everybody was like, they want me to change tabs. They don't like looking at the AP map because the AP map's scaring them. Do you see a difference, Flash and Radar, a difference between the two maps that
Not really. I think the Fox News one's a little bit more. I don't know, a little bit more. I think they're kind of early. Let's put, but I think they're doing just fine.
Okay.
CNN keeps kind of going down, so I mean we could put. I just refreshed it again. It says presidential results and Warby Parker glasses. So thanks, fucking CNN.
Okay.
And an error message.
Oh, wow. So, okay. Well, there you go.
But AP is just kind of about as fair as anyone else right now. Like I said, Fox News is kind of, I don't know. Fox News is nice on my end because I can click on it and get county by county and all that stuff. That's pretty cool. They spent some money on it, but
yeah, people are having. I guess they're asking me about the Texas. I mean, I'll look at Texas right now and I'll show you guys where it's at, and you can see right there where it was. Biden 50%, Donald Trump 48.6%, and others 1.3%. So
the real blue ones,
and it's only 30% reporting though. So
yeah, and I'm looking at the blue ones, right? You got Travis County, Hayes County, Bexar County, real blue Star County. Yeah, Travis County. I mean, come on, let's be honest. But anywhere you get around Austin, you're gonna have some blue. Dallas County is blue. The majority of it's kind of pink to red, Clay County. But sorry that there's not as many people live in Nolan County that live in Dallas County.
Yeah, right.
Sorry
exactly.
about it.
Exactly.
But I find it really hard to believe that Texas is going to go for Biden. I mean, stranger things have happened, I guess. But
Flash, did you notice any type of suppression where you were at when you were voting?
I think he took 5.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Did you see anything that was like voter suppressing of excellence?
No. Okay. I voted super early. I voted my polls opened at 7 o'clock this morning. I was in there at 7:05. So there was no line. There was 20 people. And I've actually moved since since I've last registered to vote. I say I moved. I moved 15 miles down the road. So I did have to go for a little bit of drive to get there. South Dakota does require an ID. Maybe. Technically. Maybe not. I don't know. I had to show my driver's license to get my ballot. So maybe that's not, you have to show some sort of photo ID. So maybe that's voter suppression to some people. I don't think it is. Because did you see that deal with photo IDs are voter suppression? Because you may not have time to get off work.
Oh
Sometime
no, dude!
In 4 fucking years, you don't have time to go to the fucking place.
Rant, baby, rant.
Free ID.
Rant, baby, rant. Go. Go ahead. You were saying you were gonna rant. Go ahead.
These fucking I don't have time to just take off work. Really, one fucking day out of 4 years, you can't just leave early or go down there on a fucking Friday that you have off for some random fucking reason. The no ID thing is the most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And people are, well, you don't need an ID to exercise a constitutional right. I need an ID to buy a fucking gun. That means you need an ID to fucking vote. Sorry about it. That blows my fucking mind. I need an ID to drive. I need an ID to go to another fucking country. I need an ID to do all. I need an ID to get on a fucking airplane. I need IDs to do all kinds of shit. But go to fucking California, cross the border illegally, and you can fucking vote. Ooh, voter fucking suppression. My ex-wife died 4 fucking years ago, right? Registered Republican her whole life. I got a thing in the mail 2 years ago saying she was registered as a Democrat. I'm like, what the fuck? How did this fucking happen? And then I called them, and I worked for the fucking county. And I said, she's dead. She doesn't vote for anybody anymore. I went in there today, and they asked me, and they're like, sir, is Megan going to vote today? No, bitch has been dead for 4 years. She ain't voting for nobody.
I mean, I don't want to laugh I don't want to laugh that your ex-wife is dead, but I'm just, I just think.
Well, she's not voting today. Apparently not as a Democrat, and she probably voted for fucking Biden today. I don't fucking know. But, okay, South Dakota has 3 Electoral College votes. We have never and will never be the fucking determining factor. If Trump wins South Dakota and thereby wins the election by 3 fucking votes, I'll dance naked on camera. I don't care. Better pay me though. But I'm just saying, like, that's not gonna happen. So, and my one dead ex-wife's vote isn't gonna fucking make the difference. But how many other people who died of coronavirus in the last fucking 6 months are all of a sudden still on the voter rolls and like, oh, Democrat vote?
No, yeah, that's a good point. No, dude, no, that's a good point because
you're talking shit. I did not vote for either one of these cocksuckers. Sorry about it. People are like, oh, we're orange man bad, fucking pedo bad. They're all crazy. All these dudes are fucking crazy. And you're like, oh, we can't have 4 more years of Trump, can we? Like, yeah, we can. We didn't die. Did we die? I don't think so. But I don't know. I need to breathe. I need more beer. But anyway.
So I'm gonna freak people out right now, and this got heated from family and got heated from some friends, and because I just wanted to try it just to see what was gonna happen, and I freaking did something that was like the most sacrilege of sacrilege that everyone was talking about voting, and I did by mail. Oh my God. And I was like, because there's some things that I'm going through right now that are changing up and all that, and I got to re-register and do a bunch of stuff, and I just have some things going on that I need to. So I was like, I'm gonna vote by mail, and everybody was like, "No, what are you doing, dudes? If you vote by mail, you're never gonna get your vote counted. It's gonna get stolen." So right before the show, well, not right before the show, this was of course because of the conversation. I did the bad thing. I did mail. You watch out, man. I voted by mail. So is this gonna count? Did my vote for JoJo, Kanye? See, yeah, exactly, Kanye. Did that just like it's not counted. Look at right there. My little registration number and everything. 1, 2, 3, 4 votes. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. 1 requested, 2 sent, 3 received, and 4 counted. There you go. I'm just kidding. I didn't vote 4 times, but anyways, but again, I like I said, because when you're moving and you're doing a bunch of stuff, and you got to update your records and get all this other stuff, your last home record and all that, you just have to re-register stuff. I'm like, God, I got to hurry up and do this stuff so I can get my vote in. So there was it right there. It didn't seem to bother me. It didn't hurt anybody else. So I think I'll be okay. I think that right there. And like you said, Radar, there was plenty of time to do this, to get registered. There was plenty of time to do this. There was no excuse at all. Like exactly that. If you got to have an ID to go to the dollhouse, man, I have not been to the dollhouse in a long time. Man, dollhouse, Tampa, Florida. Oof, woo. They've got good lunch there. If you go to baristas off of off of Gandhi, man, yeah, you need to have ID. So what's wrong with that? I have no qualms with that. I have no qualms with you having an ID to vote. What's wrong with that?
There's so many things you have to do. Like you said, to go to the bar. I'm near 40 years old, right? I'm old. I should be able to go to the fucking grocery store or gas station, buy a fucking case of beer without getting carded, right? Nope, still do it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So having an ID, like, I don't know, like, what? So people don't buy beer, people don't buy smokes, people don't fucking go to the titty bar. Absentee ballots are plenty safe. I think so. I think so. I think absentee ballots are pretty safe. I mean, problem with that is you have to make sure that you get them in pretty early, I think.
You need to. I know down in David's right. When we were visiting an installation there, I needed it without freaking to go to the DFAC. I needed ID just to get some chow. I'm like, hey. Yep. So Jim, what do you think about the voter ID? Is that considered suppression bullshit?
Oh, I concur with everything we just heard. I mean, you still apart and aside from things like, a driver's license, a fishing license, a hunting license, a cosmetologist license, apart and aside from all of that stuff, right, the stuff that's regulated, you still need ID to go by Claritin D, which to me, if I need ID to go buy allergy pills, certainly I should be required to show ID to, I don't know, choose the leader of the free world.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, that's no, I'm talking about the dollhouse in Tampa. You've not lived life until you've been to the dollhouse in Tampa. You've not, or the brick house. You can go to the brick house. That makes the brick house is like a fucking. It's a more classier Hooters. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. But you're right. I mean, you go into somewhere and you're going to have to use your ID card. It should not have been anything of any type of suppression that you think is going to be suppressed. And it also, y'all know that like everybody knows. Well, the election happens. I don't know when it every 4 years, and it happens on the 3rd. Everybody knows that, right? I mean, it's kind of like we kind of know that election day is like you didn't have time to do this. Like we did, like it's exactly like clutching them pearls. Oh my God, what do you mean?
Well, and like since fucking August, I can't get on Facebook without 14 ads telling me to go register fucking to vote. Like. Did you forget? But like, well, I'm going on Facebook.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean,
next year.
Go ahead.
I would even be willing to make a compromise. You know, I would be willing to compromise with state legislatures across the country if it is such a big friggin' inconvenience, and they use the excuse that it's a cost thing, whatever the hell that means. Because I've heard that many times. It's cost, and it's an inability to access the places that issue IDs. If that's the case, pass a freaking bill that pays for it. I mean, they should have a database of everybody in the state that already has an existing state-issued ID, and they should have a database of people in the state that are paying taxes. So match the two up. Any outliers, go to them and say, hey, we'll pay for you to go get an ID, all $4 that it costs to get a piece of plastic with your ugly mug on it. And then that way you can go down when you go to vote and you can show your paid for ID, your taxpayer funded ID. You got me started on this, Ray. Now I'm livid.
Go for it.
And
send it, Jim.
My blood pressure's going up, man. My veins are bulging out of my head.
The veterans report now rants.
But I'm going to say this though, like, okay, I know in South Dakota where I'm at, you pay. My license is crazy because I got a CDL and all my endorsements and shit. My license is like $50. But I'm pretty sure about it that you can just go down and get an ID. It's not a driver's license. It's not a whatever. It's just like your picture. Same as it looks like. It's like a different color, right? It's maybe like red or something instead of blue or some shit. But it's still a government issued photo ID to do the things like, say you lose your license, you get a DUI and lose your license, right? That was one of the things. Like, what if you got a DUI? You lost your license. Well, you can still get a fucking ID. It ends up being a driver's license. Like I said, it could be a fucking you have to get a license to do all kinds of shit. Basically, you have to get a fucking license to get a license. But now I'm getting a libertarian on shit. But what I'm saying is, it's not hard. And maybe other states it's $5 or $10 or whatever. Whatever the fuck it is, there should be some. Oh, I got a sniffle. Maybe I got the coronavirus.
Rona.
Anyway, to get something, save up $5 fucking. Call Radar. I'll Venmo you fucking $5. I don't give a shit.
We should have
300 people listening.
Right. We should have. That's what I'm saying. We should have a We should have like a drive, like a WTF Nation drive, like me and Radar. Let's just stand in front of your whatever you need the ID. Well, no, I don't have, me and Radar will pay for it. We'll just stand right there outside. And matter of fact, we'll buy some cigarettes. Exactly, we'll buy some smokes and beer just to make sure you're legal. We'll get you an ID. I don't get how. I don't understand who was being suppressed, and I've been watching all the freaking news lately. All the reports. I've not seen anybody like blocking individuals to stop from coming on. I've not seen anybody who's blocked traffic or stopping at the polling stations. I've not seen anything like that at all. I don't think that voter suppression gimmick is playing this time. I don't think.
No, I think it's a lot more fishy to me when you see say like last time, like in Florida, like they 2 weeks after the election, they found like all these boxes and like we found more ballots.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. I was, yeah. I saw that shit and like.
And this is where it seems chintzy to me. And again, we're backwoods. We're not going to determine a whole lot of things from where I pulled today. But it was just like the ballot. And actually, my wife voted early. My wife voted like 2 weeks ago, and she got a yellow ballot, but the ones today were white. But all I did was like put a stamp on the corner of it, and it said like I don't know, like Lawrence County vote or some shit. Boop. Right, and that was like the thing. Just I filled it in with a number 2 pencil, and then they put it in the thing, and then they stamp it. Right. Who's to say that crazy bitch isn't sitting there like 10 o'clock tonight, like stamping a whole shit ton of fucking, you know what I mean? you don't know. Because they know how many people registered to vote. They know how many people showed up.
Oh, man, exactly. All my dead relatives voted too. I'm just kidding. I just think it's insane how we knew that there was an election happening. We knew early voting was going to happen. Everybody knew that there was there was a time to do it. And I just don't think that it's legit. I mean, it's just like you need to shut the fuck up. I really don't think that you have any excuse to just. It's one of those like life things. I didn't know I had to pay bills to have my lights on. Well, I mean, there you go. You got to pay bills, right? That's one thing you have to do. As a matter of fact, just to get some utilities, you have to have an ID to get utilities.
Pretty sure about it.
But good thing we're on. Did you guys see the video of the pickup trucks in Texas driving the Biden tour bus out of the state? Did y'all see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious.
What's your veterans report? What's your take on it, Jim?
I had no issue with it. I mean, it's funny how the tide can only roll one way, apparently, according to the media and certain political leanings. Like they weren't smashing the windows, they weren't trying to run the bus off the road, they weren't shooting at it, they weren't throwing things at it. I guess the smarmy part of me says it was rather generous of that group to provide those folks on the Biden bus an escort with such a large contingent on their way out of the state.
Of excellence, of course.
No, I didn't have a problem with it. I mean,
right.
Again, if the roles were reversed, if the name on the bus was different, and the people surrounding the bus if everything was reversed, I guarantee there would have been a different outcome.
Mm-hmm. You think so?
Well, I mean, they've been demonstrating that for 6 months. Yeah, I think so. I have very little faith in a lot of the folks sort of propping up that other campaign. It's the fact that I saw in the news, not to change gears completely here, but I saw that.
No, go ahead.
They're putting up a reinforcement of reinforced fence around the White House. Now think that one through. I don't care what your political leanings are. I don't care if you're a libertarian, a socialist, R or D, Martian, whatever it is. We don't do that in this country. We don't do that. You don't threaten the White House itself.
Right, exactly.
And the fact that there is now, there's reinforcement around the actual physical structure. All these extra cops were stood up today. Why? I guess that's the most disappointing part of this entire election season is that kind of stuff. And so, when people, I guess, people of my ilk, sort of throw accusations around, there's a lot of truth to it. There's some veracity to it. I mean, they're not putting that fence up because some old lady wearing a pink Trump cowboy hat is going to go, burn the place down. They're doing that in anticipation of a very particular group, who has a propensity for violence and violating really the basic tenets of this country. And I think that's sad. I think it's really sad. I mean, we've all lived through different presidents. We've all lived through different, sort of political machinations in this country. We're still here. And I would like to think that regardless of who wins tonight, like I mentioned earlier, we can all wake up tomorrow, go down to a local diner and sort of break bread with each other and say, hey man, better luck next time.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think there is you're right. The sanctity of the White House has now been gone. Like it's no longer. It used to be one of those off limits things. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that you just not. I don't know. Us as Americans, we just didn't feel like there was a reason to do anything that had to do with the White House. Yeah, we could picket and protest and whatever. But I really didn't think that they would get to that point to where the White House itself would ever have to get barricade, like you were saying, barricade like that. And you're right. It's a crazy. It's sad. It's pathetic. That it even has to get to that point to where the sanctity of the White House itself is now threatened just because they don't like who's in it. But you can remember it's only temporary housing for 4-8 years for one person. It's not like it's not like you're gonna exactly that, Jorge. It's like egging your own home. Why would you do that? Why are you gonna mess with it? Why would you even bother with that shit? You've lost that sanctity. You all lost a lot of respect too when you do that stuff. You know, it's a loss of respect just to the individuals that would want that to happen, and the individuals that would egg others on. Don't get me wrong. I love me a good dumpster fire. Matter of fact, I'm quite qualified in that dumpster fire, you know, and shit starting and shit posting and memes and stuff. I love doing it. A little bit of a poking here and there, and you know, get a little bit of. But when it comes to something like that, I'd never do that. I would never do that. I mean, I know me and Radar were talking about that earlier about. Do you even do presidents have to weigh out? Will have a way out to clear CIF and housing? Yeah, exactly. I guess, huh? So Radar, do you think what's your take on it?
I don't know. I really think, and this is kind of a sad state I really wish that we could have tomorrow be like, yep, we're whatever, blah 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 blah. I just don't know. I think it's so divided. We were talking about this at work today, where like I said, I didn't vote for Trump. I'm pretty libertarian. I'm pretty libertarian in a lot of things. So I don't really care for either candidate and their visions for America. I mean, if you look candidly at the candidates, if you look honestly at what not the person, not whatever, what they stand for, what they believe, and their vision for America, you're going to find things with every candidate you agree with and every candidate you don't. That's just the way it works. The only person that has the entire set of beliefs that you have is you. Sorry about it. Now, that being said, there's so much baggage that both these candidates have, right, between Trump and Biden, that neither one of them winning is going to put this country at ease. Either side is going to be very disappointed. To say the least, I think, and there's going to be. I hope there's not. I hope there's not attacks at the White House. I hope there's not riots in the streets. I hope there's not drunken idiots blocking traffic on the highways and getting run over and shooting cops or whatever the fuck. You know, all these. I mean, it's been a summer full of riots anyway. Over less. So I really hope that it's not a thing. I hope that it does kind of chill out a little bit. I don't know. It's hard to say, and it saddens me. It really does. And I hope that, you know, we don't have to send the freaking Marines from the barracks over to guard the president's fucking house.
I know, dude.
That's our house.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's our house.
Right.
That's not Trump's house. That's not Biden's house. Not Obama's house. That's our house. That's ours. That's the American fucking people's house. Leave it the fuck alone. You don't like who's in there? Fucking go vote. Go show up.
Right. And yeah, and use your mail-in ballot or absentee ballot or whatever ballot you want to use. But as long as you exercise that right, if you're not voted, then shut up. See, right now we're at 119 for Biden and 92 for Trump on the electoral votes, according to the AP. I don't want anybody to freak out. So.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot. Yeah, polls must disclose, right? Yeah, it's what 9. Is it 2100? You guys
yeah, it's Eastern Standard right now at 2100. So, yeah, everyone's.
So does the Civil War start in the morning, or are we going to start? What's that do?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Do we have because right now it's saying now that another this 119 and then D Treasy's at 94 right now. So yeah, we'll see. Again, we'll just let the map update. We got all night. Shit, y'all need.
We do have all night. We do have all night. But if you look at Virginia, I'm going to pull up Virginia right now. That Virginia is like. They're calling it for Biden, right? They're giving him the whatever, however many votes they've got. I'm not even looking to give a shit. But Trump's like way in the lead right now. He's at 58.3% of the vote in Virginia. Right. And so I don't know, like, I know that's. Let me go back to it. 39%'s in. Yeah. But he's got like a 400,000 vote. It's 58.3 to 39.9 for Trump in Virginia.
Right,
I know that.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at this thing right now. I'm looking at it right now that Virginia's got. You're correct. I got the stats up, and we're only at 85% reporting. I don't know where their votes are getting this. I don't know. Does that make sense to you? Look at that count. 58% for D. Treasy, Joe Biden 39%, Joe Jorgensen 1.8. But yet it's being called to Biden.
Right. Texas is still awful blue. Texas is still awful blue to me.
Yeah, Texas is.
But you look at so Dallas County is it's 66% for Biden. Where's Travis County at? 73%. It's 402,000 to 140. Hayes County. So I don't know how many people out here listening don't know much of Texas. Obviously, Dallas County is Dallas. Travis County is Austin. Williamson and Hayes County are like the suburbs of Austin. And then you get down towards Houston too. Harris County is coming in awful blue. 789 to 601 for Biden. In the South. So I don't know. I really don't feel like it's overall. It's what 49.6 Biden to 49.1% for Trump. 57% of the votes in. I think if Biden takes Texas, though, that's going to be a lot of wind out of Trumpy sails there. So.
Yeah, I just find it kind of crazy that. I mean, I do. I just find it kind of crazy that's freaking. It's to that point. I'm just thinking there's individuals right now that are going that they're like, who has the Civil War packing list? It wasn't pushed out to the group yet. Yeah, you win that one there, Travis. Yeah, exactly that. Big boy rule. You know what to do. I don't want to see no fucking PT belts, by the way. That's insane. But at any rate, yeah, they're trying to. Everyone's like, look at this. I mean, just look at the comments right here, going back and forth. There's a minute Periscope is like got all these crazy little hearts and stuff going up. I'm telling you, man, it's everyone is going, whoa, shit, this is for real. I mean, goddamn straight honest with you, man. Towards the end, Biden and the speeches was just messing shit up. I think me and you, Radar, hell, me and you and Jim too, all three of us right now could have gotten drunk and high and probably delivered a good final speech for the campaign better than Biden. Holy crap, dude!
No teleprompter.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, the audience too. And Lady Gaga singing. I mean, if you're not telling me this is not or looking kind of shady just by the way this is, there has to be a bigger plan. There has to be something else to where you cannot. I'm not finding any reason to vote for Biden. Tell me, please. Tell me.
The only reason I've heard anybody, even some of my friends who are kind of been pretty staunch Democrats for a long time, and I've got some family that way as well. The only reason they've been able to conjure up to vote for Joe Biden is he's not Donald Trump.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Reason I've heard fall out of any of their faces. Well, he's not Trump. Well, what? Okay.
No, I heard that. You know, that's something too. I heard the same thing. I mean, I have friends across the spectrum as well, and exactly that. I know for a fact that they look at those and there's like, they don't want to hear it. They're like, no, he's not Trump. That's the excuse. He's not Trump. Yeah, but you realize he's not doing that. He's not Trump. No. But the thing is, he's not Trump. Yeah, but you understand that he's not Trump. Like, dude, you're okay, fine, fuck it. I got he's not Trump, but can you articulate something with me that has nothing to do with D. Treasy, that is an actual point of why you would vote for him? I can see why voting for Joe Jorgensen would be a good point. I can see running for even myself voting for Trump. I can see the reasons why. Well, why can't you tell me a good reason for Biden? You got to talk to somebody who's been in office for 40. That's my biggest excuse not to vote for his ass. 47 years. That dude, no. God, it's freaking, yeah, exactly. Wait, we can't tell who we're talking about. Exactly. Everyone's talking about Hawaiian t-shirts. Orange man's bad. Ain't gonna vote for him. Right. I mean, holy shit. God damn, it's insane.
Now I'm gonna
Go ahead.
break this for just for a minute.
Go ahead.
Because I swapped over. I was watching Fox News pretty heavy just because that's what I had up. I keep saying Fox News. That's what I had up. They had the most interactive map. Okay, I've not. If I have to get my news, I don't get it from Fox or NBC or CNN. That's not generally where I get my news. But Sky News isn't covering the election the way these guys are. Sorry about it. Anyway, if you look at, let's see, we go back. Fox News, NBC is not calling near as much for Trump or Biden as Fox News is, or actually the AP. They're much more probably cautious, I guess, is probably the
yeah. No, I'd see why. I can see that.
They're you look at the AP, they've basically called Virginia for Biden, and Virginia is still too early to call. Pennsylvania is the same way. New York is actually the same way. There's a lot of those, and I know, as it goes east to west, that things are going to, change, but and as it gets a little bit later, but they're looking at right now too. They have popular vote up, and in the popular vote, Trump's up actually right now, 22,082,000, blah blah, to 21 million. It's 50.1% to 48.6% in the popular vote. And I know that's kind of been something that I want to touch on this too, that we've talked about a little bit, the Electoral College. And there's been there's been some talk in the last couple months, years actually, since Hillary Clinton lost, about abolishing the Electoral College. I kind of wanted to get that in here. What do we think about that?
That's a good point, because some of the things that we're talking about is getting rid of the Electoral College and then talking about the popular vote. Now, ironic, big irony here is that what if Trump wins the popular vote? You know what I mean?
Right.
So do we act like, okay, the shoe's on the other foot? Let me escort you out of state lines. Your big bus. Does it work the same way? I mean, this is going to be contentious, dude. There's going to be. I'll be honest with you. There's going to be a big fight right now, because the House right now is looking at, let's see, the Senate is right now, for their votes right now, there's no seats. They're at 43 for the Democrats and 37 for the Republicans, and then the House is at 36 for the Democrats and 50 for the Republicans. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna get down to the finite wire, to the asses, the gnat's ass on this, and I'm gonna tell you, man, that they're it's gonna be tight.
Well, I was talking to somebody. I had to stop and get some provisions before the show because it's going to be a long one today.
Go ahead.
And I was getting a slushie, and this gentleman, who works there, was like, "How do you think the election's going to turn out?" And I was like, "Well, that's a fucking random ass question." And I told him, I said, "I don't know." I said, I kind of think Trump's going to pull it out. I said, no matter what, the biggest thing is if there is not a landslide winner, like last year, like last election. That was a landslide. There was no, it was big margins and big electoral margins. Unless that happens, and I'm talking for both sides, for Biden or for Trump. If Biden wins by a little bit in each state or something like that, like if it's within 2%, guarantee it's gonna, this is gonna drag on for, a weeks. Supreme Court, bringing up different things, whether these votes should count, whether they shouldn't. There's been places where they're segregating a certain amount of the votes that are coming in by mail if they've been posted by the election day, because they expect there to be a challenge to those votes. So they're going to segregate. They're going to count them, but they're going to segregate those votes. It's going to be. I mean, honestly, it's going to be. It needs to be a landslide. Like Trump or Biden needs to come in and clean house here in order for there to be, they're not going to fight, because you heard Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton said, "Do not concede, go for it, keep fighting," because they think they're going to win enough votes back that they're going to be able to do some damage. I don't see that. I mean, right now, Michigan and Wisconsin are polling red. South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Florida, that percentage over there is getting that margin's getting a bit bigger, 47.9 to 51.2. North Carolina, that Trump is closing the gap on there, only down by a little over 100,000 votes. Texas, I know some people in the chats are freaking out about Texas. Right now, 61% of the vote is in, and Biden's still holding on. But that, if you look at it, the numbers are only like 80,000 votes, and that can change because, zooming in on, there's tons of areas, Brewster County, Pesos County, Lubbock that still hasn't brought all their Lamb County. There's a lot of counties, especially in North Texas near the Oklahoma border, that haven't reported in or only started getting right near there's 12%, there's 15% haven't come in, that I think Texas could swing, could go back into the Republicans' favor. And then, we have states, New Mexico, people think is in play. Nevada, that's been a Democratic state for a while, was in the 2016 election, possibly in play this coming. We know Washington, Oregon, California. We're pretty sure, we're pretty sure that Alaska is going to go red. Hawaii, I think usually goes red, but we'll see what happens. Kansas right now is in play with 47% of the vote, and Biden's got it. So I don't think it's not going to be like 2016. I think this will be close, but it's going to come down to the big ones. Ohio, the gap is closed for Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Donald Trump closing in, but we got 62% reporting in, and a lot of these numbers are going to be skewed because of how early voting is counting. Like in Ohio, they weren't allowed to count the early voting until today. So all the mail-in ballots that they received already. All the early votings that happened over the last week hasn't actually been counted until today. That's when they were allowed to count. So a lot of these numbers we're seeing right now are the in-person counting, not the early voting counting, and not the mail-in. So we could have some change there. Right now, Minnesota's actually starting to come in, and it's starting to come in a little red. Granted, we only got a couple of percentage in, but there's a lot to watch for. Same thing in Pennsylvania. Right now, we don't have, while the percentages are way in Biden's favor, there's only about less than 200,000 votes in between those because a lot of these counties haven't come in yet. It's going to be a long night and potentially a long week or two, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be, again, landslide. I think is the only way that we shut the door on this election.
I don't know, what maps are you looking at right now that says? Because I'm looking at another map, and it says he's got 93 now electoral votes as opposed to the 119 for Biden. And
again, it depends who you're looking at. Like right now, if I'm looking at Fox News, he's it's 94 to 129. If I'm looking at NBC News, it's 89 to 51. Granted, a lot of those were Connecticut, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland. You got New York. That wasn't going to be hard. And it just depends. So like there's discrepancies. Like Virginia is still 58 to 40% with 39 counted. Now, when you drill down into these counties, especially like here on Fox News, they have it where it's 58 to 40%. When you drive into all these counties, a lot of these counties are red. Fairfax County, which is right there, that's right near the Pentagon is and stuff like that. That margin's not. It was dark blue, but those Trump votes have come in and it bridged that gap. I wonder if we might see a reversal. I know like people like to call it, but there's some people in the state are already calling it, and there's some people that they haven't called it yet because it's too close to call. Surrey County, Sussex County, Caroline County, those are blue, but not a lot of votes over there. But in Fairfax County, Biden has 72,000, Trump has 63,000, but these other counties that are smaller are pulling big Trump. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens as this goes along, because Trump is taking up most of these counties. Hell, even where Richmond's not even is a close margin, but even all around Richmond, Trump is leading in these counties. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Same thing in Ohio. A lot of red counties. Granted, not all of them are Columbus and stuff like that, but there's still a lot of votes that need to come in, and we're going to have to wait and see. But then when you go to Politico, so every map is different. Everyone's running their own reports. Politico has Michigan going red way, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. Right now, Missouri's looking kind of blue. Same thing with Kansas. Both of them with Kansas got 51% of the vote already in. Missouri's only got 14. Colorado. Texas, that it's getting more are voting in, but that gap is less than 100,000. So it's interesting to see how to play out. I think if Trump loses Texas, I think he's got big issues. But they've already counted North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska. They have that kind of split thing going on, but he's getting most of Nebraska, Wyoming. It's going to be interesting. I think if he loses Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, I think, and Texas, I think you can count the race right there. But we'll see what happens because there's still a lot of votes that need to come in.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I remember the last time, in 2016 when Red Leg did the show, it looked like this. It looked like there was no way that Trump was going to come at all. And then over through the night, I would say around midnight-ish, as tallies were coming in across the time zones, then that's when you started to see it pick up, and then that's when you just started seeing the numbers increase. So yeah, like you said, it's too premature, and I wouldn't call it over just now. What were you going to say, Radar?
Well, it looks like they're going to call Florida. It looks like Florida's going to be called in a little bit. Right now, Trump is holding on to, according to NBC. Let's see, who is this? I know I've got Fox reporting that it's getting close, but I think it's NBC that 51 to 48, depending on who you're looking at, the percent, point whatever is a little off. But it looks like Florida is bringing in 91%, and it looks like they might start calling you might see calls for that going to Trump, which is a big victory.
Well, I was just going to say Florida, because I'm showing 93% on NBC News, and he's still at 51%.
Well, Politico just updated, so I wonder what they're going to say now.
I was about to say, yeah. Look at this. Okay, so as we're talking here, something that's a friend of mine asked that I posted out, and you might have seen this already on the radio page, and this infuriated the shit out of me. For you guys and gals that don't know, the World War I Museum is in Kansas City, Missouri, downtown KCMO. Been there myself. Great memories there. How do I say this? Some shit sticks vandalized it, and they vandalized it, and the World War I memorial. It's the national one. It was opened up as a polling center. It was actually so you could vote there if you wanted to. Some dickbags went in there and started and spray painted the whole. I'm not going to show you the pictures because it just pissed me off. This right here is just an example of that. So a friend of mine asked me if I could highlight that and then throw some props out to the individuals out there. Steve Haith of DSG Industrial Cleaning Systems went out there and said, "Nah, fam, I got that." So they cleaned off the graffiti from the National World War I Museum. And again, thank you for dropping that, for giving me that tip and allowing to get the pictures in right quick. And then it's sad,
that's completely shameful.
It is.
That's voter intimidation right there. And right. That that's desecrating a memorial, which special place in hell. But also, that's voter intimidation. That's some bullshit. And in that same breath, I do want to highlight there's lots of places that are new that are opening up. A lot of sports stadiums have actually opened up into polling places. People to cast their votes, which is awesome. This, shout out to the folks that went out there and they cleaned it up the next day. It's good to have a good people that are willing to go out there and fix the wrongs. But the fucking balls on the people who decide to desecrate a memorial. This is the divisiveness that's happening in this country.
Right.
And no matter what the Democrats said, it is not just a Democrat problem. I think both conservative groups and progressive liberal groups all have the certain deep-seated issues where this comes up. Conservatives have the alt-right and shit like that pops up, and Democrats have, and the left has Antifa and people like that who do the same thing. It's just bad people. I hate to say bad people on both sides because
right.
People piss me off, but to go and do this is just,
right. No,
we should highlight this. Awesome that these folks went out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And took care of it.
Yeah. So again, Steve Haith, shout out to you, man. Of DSD Industrial Cleaning Systems, KCMO, Kansas City. That was the National World War I Museum. Somebody sent me that note and say, "Hey, look at this," and I'm like, "Whoa!" Recently there, so it was just kind of like, "Oh wow, okay, well, definitely gonna post this." But anyways, again, thanks a lot, guys, for cleaning that up. But also, the fact that they opened their doors to make it a polling center was even better. You know what I mean? Oh, I heard something. What was that? Well, what you got? What you got?
Oh no! So NBC News has officially declared Alabama for Donald Trump. Granted, Fox News has already got Alabama, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana, and the same thing over in Politico. But it's always just good to see it across the board. Also, Colorado predicted for Joe Biden. Pretty victory was won in 2016. Right now, it's going like it was 2016. Colorado, we expect the West Coast. We expect New Mexico. We expect Nevada. Like I said, it potentially is up for grabs. Now, more likely, they'll still go to Biden, but I do not believe I think the margin will be a little bit smaller. And get this, Hillary Clinton led the popular vote the whole way through. 2016, the whole time, she held the popular vote. Currently, Donald Trump has 50.6% of the vote. Granted, we haven't got a lot of these big cities yet, and that'll probably move it. But even before that, Hillary Clinton was holding on to the popular vote around this time, and she had a pretty decent lead. It's interesting to see Biden trailing at 48%. And, and 1.3% going out to the others, including Joe Jorgensen of the Libertarian Party, and the Green Party, and whatever, and Kanye West, who fairly, for the first time ever, Kanye West voted. He's 43 years old, first time ever voted for himself.
Hey, back off the mic, dude. You're like angry up on the mic. You're like.
He's 43 years old, first time ever voting. He votes for himself and doesn't vote for anyone else on the ballot. It's just like, Lord. This is why people need to not skip civic.
Man, everyone's like freaking, everyone's heated right now.
Right?
It's like,
rant's going.
So what I do want to switch over, because another important
dude,
thing,
your mic.
I'm not even near my mic. I think you guys are just being sensitive. How's that?
No, we're not, dude. You're like,
better now.
Okay, go ahead.
Cool. So looking at the Senate, remember you need 51 seats to control the Senate. Right now, the Democrats are looking like they're going to hold on to the House. It'd be quite phenomenal. It'd be quite phenomenal if the Republicans were able to take it over, but they probably won't. I think the biggest loss for the Democrats would be if Joe Biden wins the election, but they still don't control the Senate, because as we've seen with the House and how it's handcuffed President Trump over the last couple of years, the same thing's going to happen with the Senate and the president. If the Senate and Joe Biden, if he becomes the president, if the Republicans are able to hold on to those seats. Currently, Texas, the Texas seat is secure. They've got that. They've held on to Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee. As we talked about, Mitch McConnell was able to beat McGrath, who actually put in the most money of any candidate in the Senate race. Like, they pumped tons of money. Granted, it wasn't an easy. The Democrats had a tough time finding somebody to oppose Mitch McConnell. But he was able to hold on with 57.9% of the vote. I think he had that feather in his cap when it comes to when he had Amy Coney Barrett be confirmed as the latest Supreme Court justice, and I think that was like the final feather in his cap. But a lot of people thought that was the toss-up. So regardless if the Senate he's either going to end up being the Senate Majority Leader or the Senate Minority Leader, but Mitch McConnell is going to be here to stay. McGrath, a veteran, ran a good campaign and pumped a ton of money, but it just wasn't enough.
It just makes me mad how just that money thing, because I know Lindsey Graham was all over MSNBC, Fox News, and just like they're out making more money than me. You need to donate to lindseygraham.com, and I'm thinking, God, dude, it's you're really showing your ass. You literally are just begging on national television. It shouldn't be the amount of votes, the amount of money that you put into your campaign. That's what blows about this whole fucking thing. That's why Joe Jorgensen, she should have come on here. You know what I mean? She was more.
Yeah, you can still come on, Joe. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, exactly. Joe Jorgensen, come on and shoot the shit with us. Exactly that, Jamie. I saw that too. My hand's all messed up. Shut up, Mitch McConnell. Yeah, it's just frustrating as hell, because you're really seeing that all they're talking about, well, he has so much money in their war chest, and they have so much money, and they're going to outspend this, and they're going to outspend that. Dude, are you freaking for real? George Jorgensen has not had an opportunity to debate anybody, has not had an opportunity to come on the stage and at least say something, at least be able to bring her point and her. We had Spike Cohen on here on WTF Nation Radio, and I guarantee it, that got even, I mean, that was more important to have him on there as well, talking about their policy. He was even professional and cordial to say, I'm not going to speak for that candidate because, you know, she's going to, when she comes on here, if we can get her on here, then she'll speak to that. That right there is what it's supposed to be about. That is the right messaging that you want to have. And also, it seemed like they were pretty much in sync to their messages and what their policies were going to be. But I'm going to tell you what, Biden and Harris, what the hell were they saying? What were they talking about? What was their doing?
They're just smelling people.
Yeah.
I don't know who's. You see that Texas is now red for being blue forever. Now it's
it just switched
red.
over.
Yeah.
See, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it just took enough time, and I'm pretty sure the Trump administration is just sighing a relief. I mean, that's 38. That's 38 votes right there. That's a big number.
That is a big number.
That's a big, like, that's a non, like, that's, you know, you could lose Pennsylvania and Ohio if you have Texas. I mean, granted, California's 55.
Yeah, this graphic though that the AP is showing is really sucking, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
And I'm not a fan at all. This is not good. It's not really showing.
I do like. God, I like the
News
Fox
is my
maps.
favorite
It's so
right now.
easy to use, but they're full of dick bags over there.
They're glitching
like,
too.
oh well, this guy's. Well, wait.
Yeah.
This is also something that kind of bothers me too. Is like how, and we're literally guilty of this right now because there's still people in fucking Oregon and Washington. They're still voting. I really don't feel like anybody in Washington or Oregon is going to be persuaded by what the fuck I say, but you know what I mean? Like they might watch, I don't know, CNN or Fox or some shit. I don't know, but
Well, I don't. I'll be honest with you. I think election day should begin at midnight, you know, on election day, and should end at midnight on the night. You know what I mean? It should go from 0001 3 November all the way to 2359 3 November. That's the way it should run. That's the way election.
that'd be a long fucking night then.
Well, don't give a fuck. But I mean, you're giving everybody you're giving everybody the opportunity to vote. I mean, you're giving the opportunity for some people off of work and all that. I'll be honest with you, man. I want to hear. Oh, someone says I'm from Washington. I want to hear what you all got to say. Okay, well, what do we got to say?
Hey, look, just vote. Like I was telling you, I've had friends that are, you know, some think I'm smart, they're stupid, but even my wife was like, "Who do I vote for?" I was like, "Look, don't ask me. So you need to do the research on who you want." You know, that's the only thing I can suggest to people. But you know, just think about, you know, because a lot of people are single issue voters. You know, that's been proven with in the last election. You know, what's more important to you right now? Is the COVID handling? Is it the economy? Is it foreign policy? Is it domestic policy? And then drill into those factors. I mean, granted, you're going to run down a lot of rabbit holes and, you know, look into domestic policy. You know, a lot of these issues of, you know, protests and stuff like that have come up in Democratic cities. You know, you take that into account how you want. You know, the stimulus package and stuff like that. Should there be more done for the citizens? Should the president and the president's team have done more to help out those who have been affected? We don't, you know, what? No, here's a question: is the stimulus package income tax money or extra money?
We talking about them Trump bucks? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Trump bucks.
I believe it's a tax credit. It's not going to hurt you, but it's not going to help you. Like, I think they found a way to. Roy, I think that's the way I've heard it. It's not something you're gonna have to pay back. It's a tax credit.
It's a deferment, right?
Because fucking taxation is theft to begin with.
I was about to say, man. Hell yeah, I hear you. The taxation is theft.
Taking my fucking money. All right, cool.
So I want to get. So it looks like since we're talking about Lindsey Graham right now, with 29% of the vote in, Lindsey Graham, the incumbent in South Carolina, is looking pretty good. You know, he's got 54% of the votes against the challenger, Jamie Harrison. In North Carolina, the incumbent, Tom Tillis. Ooh, it's a tight race. 82% in, and he's down by less than 1%. So that'll be one to watch. In Montana, they have, that the poll closes in about 30 minutes there. In Michigan, the incumbent is actually losing by a big margin. Right now, it's only 19% in, but still, the numbers are starting to get farther apart in Michigan. So that might be a changeover that the Democrats don't want to see. In Maine, Susan Collins is looking pretty good right now with a commanding lead over Sarah Gideon. That was one that Donald Trump wasn't too happy with, considering the refusal to vote for Amy Coney Barrett, and decided, hey, pretty much was like, if you're not on the Trump train, he's not helping. So that was one seat that Democrats thought was very vulnerable. As of right now, it looks like Maine is going to keep her around, which I appreciate that, because I do like her. In Kentucky, we were talking about Mitch McConnell. In Iowa, Joni Ernst, another seat that closes at 10 against Theresa Greenfield. Joni Ernst is expected to be able to keep a hold of that, but we'll see what happens when the votes happen. Georgia's an interesting one because it's a special election because of the incumbent who decided to step down. We're looking at, there's tons of people on the ballot. Now, unless somebody wins by over 50%, this goes to, this goes into a runoff election in January. So we might not find out who, right now, Kelly Loeffler is the incumbent who currently has a lead. But again, it will take a 51% majority in order to get past that. So Georgia's is one of those seats that we probably won't have an answer until a special election in January. Georgia, David Perdue is looking pretty good right now. 45% of the against John Ossoff. He's leading 56% to 41. The percentages are good, but when you look at the votes, it's wider than, it's pretty wide. So I think he'll be able to hold on in Georgia. That was the second seat in Georgia. John Hickenlooper, the former presidential candidate, was able to hold on to his seat against Cory Gardner right now with 58% of the voting in. He's got 56 of it, and they've already called it for him. Which actually, I'm sorry, flips. It flips. John Hickenlooper actually flipped Colorado. Cory Gardner was the incumbent. Fox News was trying to mess with me. So that's a big win, because that takes that 54 down to 53 majority for the Republicans, and every vote counts. He held with the Supreme Court confirmation. Every vote counts. Now you're looking at, without Susan Collins for the last one, you had 2 vote margin of error. Big deal. Some votes that are coming up. Special election. Martha McSally against Mark Kelly. McSally is expected to do pretty well in Arizona. Again, we'll see. Same thing, Alabama. Right now in Alabama, with 22% reporting in, Tommy Tuberville.
The what?
Tuberville. Tuberville. Tuberville.
Tuberville.
Tuberville is currently leading Doug Jones, the incumbent in Alabama. Could flip the seat, which would be great, considering if they've lost Colorado, they would take Alabama. Right now, 22% reporting in, 58%. 50. Big numbers coming in. The numbers are changing right as I look at it.
Yeah, dude.
Still 58.88%, opposed to 41%, and the reporting is now 23%. So there's a chance Alabama will flip in the Republicans' way. And then in Alaska, Dan Sullivan is the incumbent against Al Gross and other John Wayne Howe. So it's a three-way race over there. The incumbent is looking like he's going to win in Alaska, but we'll see what happens. So it's looking like it's going Republicans' way enough where it looks like they could keep the Senate, as well as maybe add a seat. We're talking right now with Michigan. There's a potential seat to add. It's getting a little closer in North Carolina, so they might be able to add a seat. Even though they lost Colorado, it looks like they could get Alabama. So right now, I think that the Republicans will lose in total a seat in the Senate race, but I think they will still hold on to the Senate by 53.
Yeah,
53 votes.
Because right now the AP map right now is stuck or something. I'm sticking with the AP right now because that seems to be I don't know. Just lately, it's been a good map to go with, and I think they wait for like double verifications before they do anything. Right now, they have Fox has D. Treasy at 100 votes and Biden still at 129, not 131 that the AP is reporting. So it's a back and forth right now. I'm going to leave the AP up, and of course we'll read it. We'll read you guys the slides here, but it's
well, and NBC saying 89 for Biden and 72 for Trump.
Right.
So they're being even more conservative.
Yeah, they're not calling. Texas is definitely looking. Trump is bypassed Biden and is continuing his move forward in Texas. Mitch McConnell is doing his whole happy speech. His wife's kind of scares me.
Mitch McConnell, dude. I'm gonna say, fucking. Don't get me started.
NBC News is calling South Carolina for Trump. Electoral votes in there. I mean, it's going to be a close race. NBC still hasn't called Virginia. Still hasn't called North Carolina. Trump is still with 80% in. Really needs to capitalize on about 100,000 votes. Ohio 64% in, and that one's going to be. Ohio might be an issue. Right now, Biden's up 49.5%, opposed to Donald Trump's 49.2%. Like I said, anything less than 2% is going to be an issue when it comes to contention. I believe that anything less than 2%, you're going to see shit in the courts of what ballots stay in and what ballots don't count. So Ohio could be one that's going to take us a while.
So, hey, Jim, what's the Veterans Report say where you're at? What sources are you looking at?
Well, I started trying to plow through the House races here. I was looking for a good map though, because to your point, depends on where you go. They either have 0% in or they have 68% in. Quite the disparity. So once I get some more information, I can chime in. But I was looking at the House votes. Although Fox is projecting that the Democrats keep the House, based on projected vote count. So it was more out of curiosity in terms of some of the local races. The one here where I am, the big hot race was it was in the 17th district between Connor Lamb, the Democrat, and Sean Parnell, former Army Ranger and author, and he's the Republican challenger. But that was the big race here. So I don't have the results on that one yet.
Well, you know what? You bring up a good point, because New Jersey. We were talking about the some of the initiatives that are out there. New Jersey votes to legalize the possession, use, and sale of marijuana. That's just in right now. So New Jersey.
Hey, good job, New Jersey.
New Jersey. If there's anything that you have done to assist in in squashing the opioid epidemic, legalize the possession, use, and sale of marijuana in New Jersey. That's just passed right now. So just votes to legalize.
James, I know you want to talk about the House. Here's one thing that I'm getting from Politico. Right now, the Republicans are up 30 seats in the U.S. House. Democrats are currently, leading, and gathering around Senate seats as of now. But Republicans are pulling in those House seats, by a big margin. I don't, granted, I don't believe they're not going to be able to pull in, they're not going to be able to make a difference when they flip the House. But I do believe, just like in the Senate, we're going to start to see, we potentially could see, a more narrow margin of error for the House if they can't get everyone on board with, depending on a particular issue. That could be important, considering if Biden wins the election, if he doesn't have the House and he doesn't, maybe he puts something out that doesn't have full power of the Democrats in the House, because Nancy Pelosi, even though she's going to run for for Speaker of the House again, if they were able to control the House, which is pretty likely, she has contention, and she's losing some of her staunchest allies as of right now. Tons of seats still, declared, but still leaning towards leaning Republican in Colorado, lots in Texas, lots in Missouri, Illinois is picking up seats, Indiana's picking up seats, Ohio picked up some seats, Pennsylvania, even Virginia. Virginia picked up quite a few seats. In the 4th district, Benjamin beat the incumbent. Good is beating Webb in the 5th district. Freitas is beating Spamberger, which is interesting. In the 7th district, Nick Freitas, who is part of the Virginia House of Delegates, is actually going to get the incumbent Spanberger. When that's 97% put in, Spanberger, who kind of marked herself as a moderate Democrat, but has always been on a Nancy Pelosi, backer, looks like it's, haven't called it yet, but it looks like they're going to pull it. She's going to lose that race. Andrews is being the incumbent over there. So right now they would control all except 3, because right now there's 2 other seats up for grabs in Virginia, and they're looking with 92 and 87%. They look like they're going to stay Democrat. So all except 3 in Virginia are going to be Republican. Florida, they picked up 2 right now. It looks like they're about to pick up another 2 seats there. I mean, that's a big impact when you have your margin of error. Same thing in the Senate, same thing here.
That's a good point. And it looks like Kansas just flipped red. They just flipped red, just like right now, breaking.
Ohio's trending red. Michigan, Maine is looking like it's going to be more of those votes. Remember, they're a little different.
Right.
So the electoral votes don't always go. They kind of split. So it looks like Maine is going to be stay Republican. Wisconsin.
Why is the AP not reporting this then? Because if look at the maps, you can already totally tell just by the percentage rate and the votes that it's flipped red already. That freaking dude, AP, come on, man, you guys used to be legit on this shit.
Politico's showing Kansas is trending red, and the numbers just stacked up even more for Kansas. Trump is he's over 2% in Trump. Texas. I'm still waiting. Florida, only 91% reported in, but he's got a 51 to 47.
Yeah, he's got a 300,000, over almost 370,000 votes.
Well, I'll get some more maps too.
They still haven't called Georgia yet, even though there's only 50% of the vote. He's leading. He's leading by a good percentage, which that's 16 votes. Every vote. I think every vote's going to count. But Politico is reporting New Mexico is going to Biden. They got 39% of the vote in, but they've already declared it for Biden. That's not a shocker. Hillary Clinton did take Colorado and New Mexico last time, so that isn't a big difference. But the North Carolina race, that's one to really watch. By 0.4% is the difference. Right now, 86% of that of the vote is in, but that's a small margin. And let me
flip over to the Politico map right here.
Right now, Fox has Donald Trump 100 to Joe Biden's 129. It's going to be close to call. Like, you have these counties that still, the margin isn't as big as it was in some of these bluer counties. But then you have Franklin County that still hasn't reported in, Castaway County, Wilkes and Surrey County are barely have in. Let's see, Clay County, and then you also have this part of Hyde County is Trump is getting these bigger margins than he was, and I think that'll be a close one. I believe North Carolina will be a really close one, but I think it will flip.
I have some bad news though.
What's that? What you got?
Maybe not bad. I don't know. It's whatever. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wins re-election in New York.
Not a shock.
Yeah, that was kind of like a yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, that was kind of like a.
She's popular where she's from, but she's
she's also kind of popular in that movement, in that progressive movement. I mean, you can't really. I don't know. I think it'd been a real big shock if she would have lost. I know that the Republicans tried really hard with John Cummings in that too, and they were like just fucking draining money on him as well, trying to get it, to flip that. I don't think that ever was really a thing, but.
Jim, was there anything for you that was going to be in Pennsylvania that was like a big initiative or something like that you were talking about earlier in the for some of your local legislatures?
No, nothing really, nothing that jumped out. I mean, they had a lot of local stuff by county, but nothing major here in PA.
You guys ain't gonna legalize weed,
at least not this time. Yeah, not yet. Although I will tell you, interesting twist on that, and just a side note: the lieutenant governor, hardcore liberal Democrat, has been champing at the bit about legalizing weed, and he has in the state capitol. He's been flying this marijuana flag in his office. It covers his whole window.
Nice.
And at first I thought, man, that's really, that's kind of tacky and that's kind of amateur hour. But there's a Republican candidate not too far from where I live, a couple miles south of here. Republican candidate, real hardcore Republican. He's also for legalizing marijuana, and he's been out there, showing the pot leaf thing. So I thought that was sort of an interesting juxtaposition between the two of them. I guess at some point, everybody's going to have to come together on that issue, one way or the other. It's trending more towards the legalization.
I was about to say, because when you were broadcasting, when you were doing your guests for the Veterans Report about the opioid epidemic, I'm surprised that kind of like died out. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that would still be a hot button issue, because I don't know, it's still a hot button issue. Did we just like forget it? Did it end or something like that? What are the stats for that? I mean, that's why I'm surprised when you said they're both running on that ticket. You would have thought that they would have gotten some votes in for it. You know what I mean? I just that's what's
right.
odd that they wouldn't get it.
Well, I'm going to say this: South Dakota's voting on it tonight as well. Both recreational and medical. There's two ballot initiatives, and we're so Republican. There's not even a Democratic challenger in the House race. That's
wow,
that tends to happen sometimes.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
is that
we'll send you some.
I was about to say, be careful when you say that shit, man.
Republican and Dusty Johnson, and then a Libertarian.
That's what happens when you. That's
Johnson's probably the coolest name in the House, by the way.
But what's funny is that you doing that and you saying that you have all those. Everyone's saying you have all those evacuees, all those refugees from California, and Washington State and Oregon. What do you you've not seen that at all in your state at all, Radar?
What the Democrats show up?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
because
okay, like I live in the hills, and there are quite a bit of kind of transplants, evacuees, refugees.
Yeah, exactly.
But the ones so far, I mean, every now and again you kind of hear in California and it's kind of caught, but a lot of the people move here to get away from that mindset. And I think that they quickly realize that we have the mindset we have here. We can own just about any gun you want. And
right.
You don't got to pass emissions tests on your car and all that.
Right. Why do we have to have it? Right. Exactly. I was about to ask you, for not having an emissions, a smog requirement, you sure have some clean air.
Because we don't have any fucking people. That helps. It really does.
Yeah, it was one of those things, like Jim said earlier, is that, a lot of the imports, heavy, should there be like some sort of fairness doctrine when it comes to that? I mean, it'd just be spitballing. I mean, because the dumpster fire anyways, and I just figured why not fucking add to the fire. Should it be like a fairness doctrine, how it is in broadcasting? How there has to be somebody of the Democrat. Now that somebody Democratic has to run against an all Republican. You know what I mean? It's almost like there has to be somebody to do it. To make it look like it. Yep. See, the Democrats tried and they didn't do it. Did you think that would be a different method of government?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of. The last gubernatorial election. The Democratic challenger was actually really close to beating Kristi Noem, which I don't know, good, bad, and different. I actually, like I said, I'm pretty open when it comes to my politicians. I actually study them a little bit and see what they want, what they don't want.
Dude, she's a beast on that shit. She's a pretty powerful Republican in your state, man.
She really is, and that old boy gave her a run. She really did. It was pretty close. So I mean, it's not like in. The eastern part of South Dakota is very, a lot more blue than the west. And it's kind of like we're actually kind of like the country actually, where both ends, both kind of coasts are blue, and then the middle's pretty red. But it makes up for it, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, we kind of, I don't know. There is a lot more than you think, especially on the local ballots, on the the state house, state senate. The ballot initiative and referendum stuff, it seems to be a lot more progressive, and it's actually, I think the libertarians have actually done really well here as far as those ideas. a lot of the Mountain West is like that. Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, parts of Idaho are very much don't want the government involved in their lives. Good, bad, indifferent, we can figure it out kind of thing. That idea is very prevalent in this part of the country. And so I think a lot of it, when it comes to especially the Democrats in the state house, it's not necessarily that they have a Democratic policy per se. They have both sides kind of seems like the victors are kind of like, yeah, we want to keep taxes low. We want to have a balanced budget. And South Dakota has an initiative, has a referendum, has a constitutional amendment that we will have a balanced budget, and we run great on that. A lot of those things that kind of wouldn't fly in other places, somewhere like Illinois, could operate on a balanced budget. California couldn't.
Right. Because it would be too skewed.
Yep.
Now, somebody asked, how did the reservations voting? I mean,
let me look at the map. I hate to guess, but right now everything coming in is red. And actually let's see, Seabock County's reservation, Dewey's reservation, either one of those are in. Jackson County, Oglala, Dakota County, all those are still not in yet. So far everything's red except for Clay County, which is down south of Sioux Falls. It's almost into Iowa and Nebraska. So far everything's Trump. Everything's real red in South Dakota. I don't know when it gets down to, like I said, Oglala, Dakota. I would be surprised if that goes to Trump. That would probably go to Biden. But I think they only have the two big reservations are, actually a pretty good population center of the state, but.
Right.
Hey, it's official. Lindsey Graham keeps his seat in South Carolina.
Punk.
That was another seat that was.
That was about to say it.
Was up for contention. Was along with Susan Collins' seat was one that they felt was in danger. So that's a good win for the Republicans over there in South Carolina. Looking North Carolina still got a 0.2% difference. It's honestly less than 20,000 votes separates in North Carolina with 87 reported in. Iowa, closes roughly in about 3 minutes. So that'll be a big one over there. That's 6 electoral votes. Pennsylvania, that gap has closed. Right now they're only reporting 22% in, but Biden is up 49.3 to Trump 47.3, which was a big difference compared to the 61 to 30 something earlier. Minnesota is starting to trend more towards Biden, but there's clicking in. Oh no! Pennsylvania just flipped red.
I just saw that.
What?
Pennsylvania just flipped red, according to Politico.
We got the map
according
up,
to Fox News, and according to NBC, Trump is taking a lead of 50.6.
Wow. So now
that's a big. So they said if Joe Biden doesn't win Pennsylvania, he's gonna have a hard time. Like Pennsylvania was almost like the linchpin when it comes to this election. Like that's kind of like if they can win Pennsylvania, that means they got the heart of, they've got the heart of everything going on. So that's.
All the Rust Belt, you got Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin now all kind of being red. So I can't.
And then it flips, and now it just flipped back. According to Politico, it just flipped back blue again. So Pennsylvania's got like a 0.2% difference. That will be so they're at 25%. That will be another one that if that's not by a 2% margin, that's going to be in contention in courts, and that's going to be an ugly one. So
right, well, yeah, but it's like less than 3,000 votes.
Yeah, he just jumped. T. Treasy just jumped 109 now. He's 109 on electoral votes. So that's according to Fox.
I can't believe that. You look at Florida now; it's still at 93%. Let me refresh it again. Yeah,
still 90%. Trump's got a commanding lead in Georgia, which was one they thought was going to flip. The percentage is getting a little bit wider in Texas, but not as wide as we would think. Apparently, too many Californians moved to Austin, Dallas, and shit. Ohio, he's still got a little less than 3% margin over there, with 75% closing in. So that'll be interesting. Michigan is 55 to 42. I believe they're going to I think when they hit about 50%, if the margin stays the same, I think they might call Michigan, Wisconsin a little more narrow, but about 3.5% difference for Trump. So I mean, it's like I said, this is going to be a crazy race. Now, one interesting thing that I wanted to note in Virginia, they had a ballot question to allow veterans, if you are 100% disabled, it pretty much the question was an exempt one automobile or pickup truck from state or local property taxes for veterans who have 100% service-connected permanent disability. That won by a right now it's about 98% reported in, but they're winning right now 79. So it looks like that's going to happen. So which is good. It's good to see stuff happening for the veterans in Virginia. And there was also another big one that Republicans are really happy about winning is the idea about gerrymandering and redrawing districts is a hot topic issue in a lot of places in Georgia and in Virginia. Democrats are hoping to keep everything since they control the House of Delegations, the state Senate, and the governorship. They were hoping to keep everything as the state legislators would draw up this map. This question came up. Pretty much they moved to drawing the state congressional and legislative districts from state legislators, and pretty much the redistricting commission would compose of state legislators and citizens instead of just state legislators, which takes a little bit of power away from the Democrats who control much of pretty much the government in Virginia. So that's been looks like that's passed 66 to 33% with 90% reporting in. So some big steps that are happening. That's why I tell people to vote. It's not just about the presidential election. That's the big highlight. That's like the big fight. That's Conor McGregor and whoever the hell he wants to fight. The small things on the ballot. Your House of Representatives, your state legislators, and these congressional things like medicinal.
Oh yeah,
you switch back to red.
Right.
Trump is now holding a 49.1% over Biden, which is at 47.8 with 25 of the vote expected in. Again, he needs to hold this, and that's I think honestly,
he needs 270 to win is what he needs. The 270 is what's needed to win.
270, and that's a bit between Texas, it's 38 votes right there. Florida's another 29, and then bringing in Pennsylvania, which is 20. That's big. Like that almost gets him there.
Almost gets him there. Hey, you were talking about.
There's
you were talking
Montana, Idaho.
You were talking about those initiatives, Flash. Is that it was not just New Jersey, but 4 states could choose to legalize recreational marijuana, and voters in Republican-led Arizona. I'm surprised that in Arizona, in South Dakota, and Democrat-led Montana and New Jersey will consider proposals to legalize recreational marijuana. Another red state, Mississippi, is weighing a pair of ballot questions to legalize medical marijuana. Bro, what's going on? Now all of a sudden, the Republicans want to smoke weed. Is this the new hotness? Is this the?
Everybody wants to smoke weed.
Everybody wants to smoke weed. Just say fuck. I think 2020 has been bad for both parties to where they want to vote in weed.
Like light it up.
Yeah, it's gonna be 420. Yeah, 2020 is gonna be another. It's just gonna be the theme.
And
so
North Carolina's at a statistical tie right now at 49.4%, with 87% coming in. So either Trump or Biden needs a big push right now in order to pull North Carolina away, which could be Arizona came on the map right now. 60% has come in so far. Biden's leading 55.9 to 42.9 in Arizona, which might be telling for McSally in the Senate race over there, and that might not. It's still bad news.
Right, Utah, but she was on a special election though. She wasn't actually elected in. You know what I mean?
She was appointed.
Yeah, she was appointed. So it was more like So this is her first time actually running. And there was some drama going on with her, how her race was going, and how Kelly's race was going too. Hey, just real let me just make a quote right here. It's really showing the kind of breadth and acceptance that we're seeing around the country with respect to cannabis, said Stephen Hawkins, an executive director of the Marijuana Policy Project. an advocacy group that works with many of the ballot initiatives. Not every effort to get marijuana on this ballot was successful, though, through coronavirus pandemic and early stay-at-home orders having scuttled signature drives to gather enough support to place the signatures. Quote, we lost time needed to gather signatures or else there would have been 6 states. Again, full adult use. It's Arizona Proposition 201 that would allow adults 21 years and older to possess, consume, or transfer up to 1 ounce of cannabis and create regulatory system for the product's cultivation and sale. Bro, that's South Dakota as well. Could leapfrog. Has 2 measures on the ballot. Measure 26, which established the medical cannabis program and registration system for people with qualifying conditions. Amendment A would legalize cannabis for adults and require state legislators to adopt a medical cannabis and hemp laws. And that's what what South Dakota could do is called leapfrog. I don't know what the hell that means, but it must be.
People get high and fucking leap frogs, I guess.
I wouldn't mind getting high and leaping frogs.
Let me get high off a frog.
McSally, she's currently losing to Kelly 56.2 to 43.8 with 63 expected in. It's looking like New Mexico. Oh shoot. Tillis is pulling away in North Carolina. Looks like he's going to be able to keep that seat. In New Mexico, the race is pretty tied up. In Kansas, the GOP seems to be pulling away from there. Alabama, Tuberville is leading by a big margin right now, but only 38 have expected to pull in. Right now, a lot of states are in Michigan, actually. Michigan is trending red, 32% in. James against the incumbent Peters. That could be a big one, especially if they lose McSally. They could flip in Michigan. Minnesota's looking like the incumbent Smith is going to beat out the Lewis. Jody Ernst on the board now. She's starting off with Corbin in Texas. You've just been declared the winner over there. I know.
You're like, okay, let me talk about Montana then. The window, I'm still talking about this weed stuff, man, because everyone's going to need a joint after all this is over with.
I need one now.
What to say? The window.
I need one now.
The window is in Montana. The window to gather tens of thousands of signatures needed to place its 2 legalization questions on the ballot collided with early months of the pandemic. Now the state has 2 initiatives.
He says or meth.
Or meth. Yeah. Initiative 190 would allow adults in the state to possess, buy, and use of cannabis for recreational use, and define a 20% tax. See, I knew it. Me and Radar talked about that. They're going to try to tax it.
I mean,
stuff.
That was on our ballot.
Yeah.
That was on my ballot today. It said that they will make X amount of money. I don't fucking remember what it is, but they estimated this much tax revenue was going to be, and of course it's going to education. It's going to the kids because that's where fucking tax money always goes. Apparently, even though schools are under.
If you look at our numbers against like other countries in the world, that wouldn't be a bad thing. The stoners are helping kids get smarter. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all.
No,
I'm surprised there's states on the board.
Why does
there's states in our country?
You make it sound like
surprised haven't had
but you make it sound like
bill yet.
But you make it sound like those who participate in some sort of cannabinoid for recreational or medicinal purposes have some sort of limited level of intellect compared to the children's. When you say stoners, I'm insulted for stoners.
You could be insulted for stoners. I said what I said. The folks that you label as stoners are the ones that you're just like, you're just going to be absorbed into a couch and that'll be about it. But there's plenty of marijuana users.
There we go. Exactly.
I say there's a difference between a stoner and a marijuana. The same thing as the difference between
I consider it
and someone who drinks alcohol.
It's almost like a tea. I consider those of that bracket, to include myself at times, to be a THC enthusiast. You know what I mean? That's the
THC enthusiast. I can dig that.
I would like to stick it like that.
And voters at home, people watching at home, all 300 something of you guys, we're way early in the game. States are going to keep flipping and flopping. Don't like Montana, it's coming up blue right now, but literally 17% in, but there's not a lot of people, so I expect a lot of those numbers to switch over because they're reporting 2 counties right now in all of Montana. So, I know some of you guys are like, Mike, you're a stoner. Yeah, super job.
I was a stoner. Yeah, see? Hey, what's up, Dr. Ed?
Trump's starting to pull away North Carolina. He's up by 0.6%. Again, honestly, if you're not up by 2%, I do not believe that's going to be a cold state, and I think it's going to go to the court. So
he's also pulling away in Pennsylvania now too.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
he's
He is.
almost 100,000 ahead now.
He is.
50.4% to 46. Ohio 51.4 to 47.3. Michigan, he's leading by, right now there's 32% of the estimated vote is in. He currently has 56.3 opposed to Joe Biden's 42.
See, Jasper. See, Jasper's correct. See, now all of a sudden it just flashed out that the VA is red, but they voted for Biden. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? How can they? Oh,
that's why I'm glad. Like, I'm watching like NBC News.
Yeah, exactly.
That isn't, because when you apparently it's the same thing with Mark Warner, who was the Senate seat over the challenger Glad. I think there's no L. GADE. Gad. He was cold after 1%, but the numbers just aren't adding up now. And according to NBC, Trump has a 53 to 45.2 with 54% in. When you drill down into it, yes, you have Fairfax County, which is it's high income. It's a lot of people who work in DC that live there. But the margin's not that big, 52 to 45 in that county. Loudoun County, which is another very hoity-toity expensive place to live, that has a bigger margin, 61 to 36 with 135,000 votes to 81,000 votes. Joe Jorgensen actually pulling in 1.4%. Go Joe. Caroline County, which was kind of a surprise to me, that's one that they're leading, but 50 to 48, so not a huge lead. Abilene, 65 to 32. That's a big one, but again, the votes are only 41 to 20,000 over there. But everyone else is red. Outside of, even around Richmond City, which, even though the percentage is different, it's 8,000 and 3,000. So it's weird that they're already reporting, they're reporting a victory in a lot of these outlets.
One of my friends asked me, is Jeb winning?
Well,
I'm gonna tell her she no, not yeah.
Clap.
Hey, real quick to answer the question, I recommended nobody for the UCMJs of the weeds because nobody ever popped hot in my company when I was first on for the weeds. So there you go. That's the answer to that.
Arizona might be one that's going to be could be a surprise going Biden's way right now. 70% of it in. Biden with 54.9, 43.8. Not a lot, there's not a lot of counties in. It's not like Virginia where it's got like a quadrillion, or New York it's got a quadrillion. There's only like a handful of actually districts here, so it's kind of interesting. Phoenix, the margin's actually pretty close in around the I'm not even trying to say the district around Phoenix, Arizona. But we could see, because there's still counties that haven't even reported in. We'll see what happens.
It says right now that I guess Florida's got a lot of congressional seats flipping like crazy, man. Congressional districts are just going like nuts. Maria Alvarez Salazar defeats incumbent Adana Shalala and for the Miami-Dade District 27, which is one of the key counties for the election. And it's crazy, dude. I'm like, wow. But again, how is it that these are flipping red? Everyone's saying, "Oh, flipping red." But the stats. Maybe again, this thing pisses me off with these freaking charts. I think everyone's being real cautious, not to name anybody a winner. But Fox is
there's certain ones that are being cautious,
right?
And there's ones that, like, I think Fox News is playing fast and loose. I haven't been able to get on the CNN. I haven't even tried CNN in a while because their website was crashing every time I was trying to go there. They seem to be pretty cautious as well.
They're back. They're back.
What's back?
CNN's back.
CNN's back. Yep, CNN is back up. Look at that. So that'll be because I'm trying to get as many outlets as possible.
See, the AP's now at 90. Is now at 98 votes and now has Joe Biden up at 131. See, again, dude, this is gonna be crazy. I just everyone's gonna be like,
yeah. Currently, CNN they're slow playing it. They have it's 72 to 89 right now in favor of Biden. See, I don't like their map setup just as well. Yeah, Politico has it 99 to 131 for Biden. Fox has it 129 to 109 for Biden, and then over here at NBC News, it's 94 to 72. So depending where you're at, I mean, they're largely saying the same thing It's just a matter of who's deciding to claim to claim victory and not. NBC News still doesn't have Virginia. Currently, Trump's up 53 to 45.2 with 54% in.
Pennsylvania, Trump's really pulling ahead in Pennsylvania now. It looks like.
Yeah, he is.
And that could be skewed though by who's reporting already.
Yeah, I was about to say, Jim, what's going on over in your neck of the woods on your news sources over there? I know what are your local people saying?
Oh, I'm following the same ones you guys are.
Because I know there's some small, because I'm not even watching local news because they are like running mad all over the place because they have a lot of local elections happening too. So it's kind of like I'm not even paying attention. I'm just curious to see if anybody from the Pennsylvania side of the house had anything to put up. But I mean, you're listening.
He's running away. I mean, he's starting to pull away right now. CNN saying that North Carolina is the most competitive state right now that's up for grabs. While Trump is leading, it's 90% in. It only takes, there's still a lot of counties that haven't fully, 81%, 88%, 95, 97. Let's see, what about this one? 95. So a lot of these counties, there's 75 right there, 96. A lot of these counties have reported in. There's tons that are reported in 100%. Again, there's one, Surrey County, that's up north near the Roanoke area of Virginia. That's only at 79% reported in.
Yeah, same thing with Texas. Texas at 70. Texas is 70% right now reported in. And Florida is 91% reported
94.
in. Yeah,
94 on NBC.
Yeah.
But Trump's taken. He's almost 1 million votes ahead now, or 700,000, I guess.
He's got 50% of the vote, the popular vote right now.
Let me take this call.
Yeah.
WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air.
What's up?
Oh shit, what's going on, man?
Oh man, same old thing down here in Mississippi. Can I speak just a second about how crazy the medical marijuana initiative is in Mississippi?
Send it, bro. Come on, let's hear it.
Look, the sheriff's office and police chiefs association actually put ads out that said that their concerns with this initiative would be, one, that what if someone's grandchild went and picked up their medication and just kept some of it and smoked it themselves? And the other thing that they had a problem with was, what if you didn't really medically need marijuana and you shopped around until you found a doctor that could prescribe would prescribe it.
They're trying to apply the same reasoning to stopping pill mills in Florida with the Oxycontin and shit. They're trying to apply that mentality like that's gonna. First off, I would say the same thing about guns. What happens if you have your gun laying around and your kid finds it? Well, you know what I mean. I hate that fucking mentality.
Right.
That's what they're pulling.
It's personal responsibility. For
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Not to mention the fact that
another,
those unions, dude. Is it? I support. We support the blue. We talk about, but don't you think sometimes they get a little bit over too? I don't know. It's almost like their own personal respect to it, their own personal feelings about it, end up bleeding over into that type of legislation. You know what I mean? They're so anti-weed because they personally don't believe in it. Without seeing some of the.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But think of this: the average officer on the street, if somebody has shopped around and found a doctor that will prescribe them marijuana, that's a perpetrator you don't have to worry about probably for the rest of the night unless he's going to get some snacks or something.
Right. Exactly. I never met it. Yeah, I've never met anybody who has smoked, anybody who has who's done THC sports and has robbed a bank. I never, you know what I mean? I've never seen anybody. As a matter of fact, watching two stoners fight is hilarious because they're not really fighting. Well, in their minds, they're probably thinking they're like doing the, like the Chinese Shaolin movies and shit. But they're not. I mean, watching two stoners fight is hilarious. It's like watching two tortoises fight. It's just not gonna. It's funny as shit. I think it's like that. It's that. What do they call that? What's that? Reefer Madness. That whole scare campaign that they have for
Madness.
That's what I think it is.
And I mean, what do they care anyway? I mean, what does the average person care anyway? I mean, it's not like they're making a dirty bomb out of marijuana or nothing like that, you know?
Right.
They're just going to smoke it, you know?
Well, you know, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to talk about, you're talking about the Initiative 65 and Initiative 65A.
Correct.
Right, yeah. Why? What's funny is that none of the news ever talks about the police unions or anybody of law enforcement unions fighting it. They broke it down to where they have any of the 22 qualifying conditions to include cancer, MS, post-traumatic stress. It's almost like how we always talk shit about leaders in sergeant's time. You're not qualified, just like these police officers are not qualified to make the determination of what is a condition, a qualifying condition. So
exactly.
So if you have cancer, if you have multiple sclerosis, you have post-traumatic stress, you as a law enforcement officer do not have that right to. It's almost like the way I see it. You as a cop or you as a law enforcement agency, you need to do the request through that doctor to find out if that individual is legit, and it's only up to that doctor to say he is part of the 22 qualifying conditions, and that's all I'm gonna fucking tell you.